What transpires when a nation becomes increasingly secluded from the global community? A pertinent question as we turn our gaze toward Russia, a country experiencing an escalating degree of isolation. In the recent past, we've seen companies such as Netflix and TikTok join an expanding list of entities suspending their services in Russia. Netflix, for instance, declined to broadcast Russian state television on its platform, while TikTok withdrew due to Russia's stringent fake information law. The call for additional sanctions on Russia is growing louder, with the United States contemplating easing sanctions on Venezuela to accommodate more non-Russian oil production. The world, so deeply interwoven by the threads of globalization, now grapples with the unique challenge of dealing with a nuclear-armed autocrat leader with a nationalist expansion agenda. The underlying motive behind this isolation isn't control but the creation of a Russian empire, a concept proposed by Fiona Hill, a former White House official and Russia expert. Hill draws parallels between Russia's contemporary expansion efforts and Germany's territorial expansionism before World War II. She underlines the prevalence of territorial expansionism in Germany during Hitler's reign and argues that Putin is following a similar trajectory. Over the long term, since 2008 to be precise, Putin has been methodically acquiring land, subjugating neighboring territories under his control, and setting a precedent that resistance will be met with force. This has sparked fears that Putin could extend his reach to other countries, with Moldova being a potential target. Hill also refers to Putin's belief in a Ruski Mir, or a Russian world, an ideology that suggests Russians and Ukrainians are one and the same. This notion implies the regathering of all Russian-speaking regions that were once part of the Russian Tsardom. Interestingly, Putin, who survived poisoning and has been barred from running for office, is expected to stand for re-election in 2024. His main Russian rival may still be detained at a penal colony at that time. In 1996, Putin, transitioning into the national government as his country was veering toward democracy, suggested that a strong hand might be necessary to control Russia. He even alluded to the possibility of a temporary turn to totalitarianism. Although he also acknowledged that such a strong hand could potentially strangle the country, his words have prompted speculation about his intentions for the Russian state. In summary, Russia's increasing isolation from the world is a complex issue, intertwined with the actions of companies like Netflix and TikTok, the growing demand for additional sanctions, and Putin's expansionist ambitions. The world watches and waits as the implications of this isolation unfold.